Mr. Gandhi thinks he has got that divine right. So whatever he says, whether that is irresponsible, whether he's accountable, he doesn't give a damn. And similarly, the ecosystem also tries to justify it. After a long time, perhaps the parliament was allowed to function, and you know that Gandhi and his party now have presented a no confidence motion against the speaker. But then what he and the ecosystem say, that the leader of the opposition is not being allowed to speak. That Mr. Pal once upon a time was in the Congress party, leader of the opposition, telling the presiding officer, don't stop me, you are from my party and we respect you, you will come back to us. Namaskar. Friends, I was watching our parliamentary proceedings, and I was watching our leader of the opposition, Mr. Rahul Gandhi. After listening to him, particularly the way he talked and what he talked, I thought I must share with you people some of the ideas that came to my mind. Before that, I just will like to make 2 points. Then it will become easier for me to explain and for you to understand what I am going to say. Point number 1, 200 or 300 years ago, particularly in Europe, the scholars, they justified something about their respective rulers in various countries, and particularly in Britain. And I think though nobody said as much here in India, but I think broadly the theory that these experts or academicians or intellectuals those days were saying or rather were more or less shared by people here in India too. Those days there are rajas who were ruling, kings. We call Raja, Maharaja, they are calling them kings and monarchs. And the theory was called the divine right theory. And what is the divine right theory? Divine right theory says that these rulers, these kings and monarchs, or whoever rule over you, they are not responsible, accountable to you. Why? Because they are the chosen representatives of the God on the earth. स्वयं भगवान ने इनको दुनिया पर भेजे हैं, and वो इन्हें वे represent only the God. So whatever they will be doing, they will be only answering if anything goes wrong only to the God, whether in their lifetime or after they depart is something else. But those over whom they are ruling have no power whatsoever to ask what exactly you are doing, and their prerogative, their rights, the type of facilities that they would have would never be questioned. And it was also said that look, God who has created this world has only sent some chosen few to represent him, and they are very few in number. So suppose there is a country where, suppose I give you an example, 1 lakh people are there. The God has chosen one man to rule over you. So what are his wants? What are his needs? These needs in any case are limited. So God is very much satisfied, and whatever he does, he only will be answerable to me. So this is called the divine right theory. The ruler is accountable, is not accountable to the people over whom he rules or whom he represents. And second point is a logical corollary of this. Obviously, as I said, these intellectuals, these experts, or these chamchas, or we call them bhakts or chamchas, they would be justifying this, and they belong to what they call the ecosystem. So, of course, this ecosystem takes ages to build up. This ecosystem cannot be built by or within say 2 years, 3 years, 5, 10 years. No, इसके लिए टाइम लगता है. कम से कम 15 साल, 20 साल, 25 साल, 50 साल. In ecosystem is created, and it takes that much of time. So now I am coming straight to the point when I am going to explain the way our leader of the opposition these days is behaving. As I said, he thinks, and that ecosystem of the Congress as well as these intellectuals, particularly those days the university professors who write these op-eds and maybe going to television channels and they talk. Because Congress has been a ruling party in this country, as I said, it takes years and years to build up. So that ecosystem still is very much vibrant, which Prime Minister Modi some time back was talking of Khan Market gang. So, but I'm not going to that. I'm talking of broadly this ecosystem. And so they also justify what Mr. Gandhi does. And Mr. Gandhi thinks he has got that divine right. So whatever he says, whether that is irresponsible, whether he's accountable, he doesn't give a damn. And similarly, the ecosystem also tries to justify it, that what he is doing is right. And what precisely he is doing, since we are talking of parliament and this session, this type of chaos that every day you come across. And I think after a long time, perhaps the parliament was allowed to function, and that Gandhi and his party now have presented a no confidence motion against the speaker. But what he and the ecosystem say, that the leader of the opposition is not being allowed to speak, and in the process, parliaments is not being allowed to function. As you know, every minute of parliament with the Lok Sabha, I believe takes 1 point rather cost the country 1.25 lakhs. So if you say Lok Sabha, Rajya Sabha, 2.50 lakhs per minute it costs to the country, and then I think every single day, assuming that the parliament functions, or the 6 or 9 crores and 10 crores, and people say one particular session one spends or rather cost to the country around 250 crores. That does not include the salaries and perks of our members of parliament they do take. But the point is that you see the sheer wastage, because the parliaments or the sessions are not allowed to be held. And Mr. Gandhi and his party has ensured it, but under the pretext that he is not being allowed to speak. The whole point is this. My point is that suppose I am accusing you of doing something, that will be having some semblance of credibility if what I am saying, I am not doing that, then only you will be credible. Na? You say that you are not being allowed to speak, but the way you and your party men behave, they do not allow the majority of the parliament members to speak, because you are denying them. When the parliament or this house does not function and it gets adjourned, as I said, so much of money is spent and wasted. That means, do you allow the majority of the representatives of people of India? After all, the government has got more numbers. That means they represent majority of the people of India. But don't you think that you are denying the representatives of the majority of the people of India to speak? So that apart, that is the credibility part. But the point is that how this thing is happening, why this thing happened, this time. You say you want to speak. I think 20 years back, I had written on a major academic article, I think that has come in the form of a academic textbook, with the role of opposition in Indian Parliament. I think it is the ages 25 years ago, I must have written. And I think my chapter was the opposition in Indian Parliament. And obviously, since I wrote that sometime around the late 90s, 1990s or early, I think around that time. So obviously, the stalwarts, opposition means always, most of the time Congress party was in power, but then there are some stalwart opposition leaders. The way they participated in the parliament, the quality of their speech was remarkable. But I'm not going to say the quality of the lectures or bhashans that these days one comes to hear there in the Indian Parliament. But I'm not going to that, and the type of, I'm not saying, there was an American friend of mine, he was asking me, because these days these things are very much available in social media, the way our leader of the opposition goes to the parliament and the way he dresses himself with that white t-shirt with blue jean. He was asking, does your parliament have no dress code? People so casually dressed, go inside, and the way talk. I said that I have no comment to make, because it's a very valid point. This question had never arisen in my mind. But then people do talk of it. I'm not going to say the way, as a leader of the opposition, the way he conducts himself, the way he dresses himself. I'm not saying, I'm talking of the way he conducts himself. Only accusation, what is the quality? The point, when you speak, every institution has got some rules and regulations, right? You cannot say that I'm the leader of the opposition, so whatever I want to say, I have to say, and I have to say it right now. I can't, wait. Even suppose the speaker says that, okay, we all will listen to you and there will be some time allocated to you tomorrow, day after. No, it has to be right now. And if I do not, then my chamchas or my party persons will go and throw, and what that speaker thing is something, as I said, is different. They have passed a motion of whether that is going to be passed or not, that remains to be seen. But that's a different matter. So, but then you demand that whatever I'll say right now, and there will be no rules and regulations. For instance, this entire crisis, this budget session erupted from the very fact that Mr. Rahul Gandhi, our leader of the opposition, was quoting from some book which has not been published. And parliamentary rules are very clear, absolutely very clear, that you cannot quote from a publication which is not formally published. And that that general, army chief, Nabran, I'm not saying that what exactly he was saying, what great crime. I think that general, this government has been very, very kind enough to even not take action or stop that general's pension, because in any established democracies there is chain of command, and when the military people say something or write something, then or what they talk with their bosses, that means political leaders, prime minister, defense minister, these are all called classified, that means secret thing. That means in America and Britain there is a system, they do release it after 50, 60 years or 20, 30, that depends on the government of the day. So this, unless they are made public, what actually the generals and the army people do talk with their bosses, they remain secret, classy. These are absolutely essential. That happens in every country. So what General Navarone was talking, and what Prime Minister told him, or what Defense Minister Rajnath Singh told him, they are supposed to be classified, and that is why when they do write some books, the government clears them. Without the clearance of that thing, that book formally would not be published. Particularly those who are in the military or those who work in the intelligence agencies like RAW, particularly RAW, Research Analysis Wing. So in this case, there is and why the government really, and of course now he will say that that book has not come, that book has not been formed. The publisher, the Penguin, says, as you must have come to know, that they gave a statement yesterday, so that they have not published it, and any person doing it that is in violation of the copyrights and what not. So and General also said this, the book remains, he agrees with what the publisher says. If that is the case, what right Mr. Rahul Gandhi had to say something which does not exist? And that is precisely what the speaker said. You please don't quote from that book. That book doesn't exist. You carry on. You make your other points. But then he became, as I said, the divine right. He got so much insulted by this. The Lok Sabha was not allowed to speak the entire last 1 week. And today also he precisely did the same sort of thing. Wild allegations. The presiding officer said something, but he doesn't listen. And he simply never, and the way he was saying, the presiding officer, I think Mr. Jagdambika Pal, Mr. Pal, you belong to us, you were in my party before. What you are saying, that means, can you believe it? That Mr. Pal once upon a time was in the Congress party, leader of the opposition, telling the presiding officer, don't stop me, you are from my party and we respect you, you will come back to us. Is this the way the leader of the opposition really speaks inside the parliament, inside the Lok Sabha? And precisely he did. So where exactly we are heading? And when here is the leader of the opposition, as I said, forget about the way he dresses and the way he speaks. He never really makes you wiser, except throwing these wild allegations. Like you all know, 10 years back he talked of this Rafale controversy matter, went to the Supreme Court. Then he talked of that Pegasus, that his telephone is being hacked by some Israeli spyware. And when Supreme Court, set up a committee to investigate whether that is true or not, and that committee asked Mr. Rahul Gandhi, please give your telephone. Let us find out whether that has been attacked by that spyware or not. You know that Rahul Gandhi refused to give that telephone. But then for 2-3 months every day, he was spending half an hour in giving gally to this Modi government. So and now he's talking of some Epstein files, that is in America, and all sorts of wild, and now this book, and because of which the parliament more or less came to a standstill. So the point is, does India, or for that matter, we the Indians, in a mature democracy like ours, deserve such a leader of the opposition and such an ecosystem which justifies whatever this LOP says and does? So I am leaving these questions to you to ponder over. Thank you very much for kindly listening to me. Namaskar.